to the Dual Force, where mental health and physical health finally stop being treated like strangers.
This is a podcast we wish we had earlier in our lives, built to save you time, confusion, and a whole lot of unnecessary struggle. This is a disclaimer. This podcast is here to educate, empower, and spark insight, but it's not a substitute for personalized medical or mental health care. Everyone's body and mind are different. If something resonated with you and you want individualized support, reach out to us or connect with a
Welcome back!
So happy to be back.
Yes.
It's been a minute for us.
It has been a minute because you went to Japan.
I did. So fun.
And how's the adjustment back to the States? Back to work?
See, what I think people fail to do when they go on international trips is to talk about the jet lag.
Yes.
That you experienced. And you can plan it as concisely and strategic as you may.
Mm-hmm.
But that sucker is still going to hit you hard. So I was down for 3 days. Barely able to move.
No.
It was debilitating, but totally worth it. The whole adventure before the jet lag. So
That's so good.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you had a good time. I missed you.
I missed you. I missed our routine. Something, I don't know, when you get used to having a routine and then you're away from it, you're like, oh, I kind of miss that. So
Yeah.
I did miss you a lot.
I'm glad it was
I'm
both
glad to be
ways.
back.
Yes. I'm glad we're here. And we're doing this again.
Yes. Picking up where we left off to you guys.
Yes. Yes. So happy you're here. Thanks for coming back.
Yes, for sure.
We are doing our mini-series still.
We are. Yep. So we touched upon some really important topics over the last couple of episodes before this.
Mm-hmm.
And today we've got some more important information to share and
Gonna kind of wrap it all up.
yeah.
I mean, we've covered how to ask for help, but we have not quite touched on when to ask for help.
Right. Which is huge. When to ask for help is not always when we think it's appropriate to ask for help for us, or it's too late. It should be right now when you feel it.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to talk about it is if you start to think about maybe asking for help, that's probably when you should.
Yeah.
Or should have beforehand.
Yeah.
Depends on the situation. We touched on this when we talked about Childhood Abuse Awareness Month at the beginning of this month, or beginning of April. Sorry, this is releasing in May.
Yes.
So we talked about when to ask for help in that situation, and I feel that in those sort of traumatic situations, people are more understanding of when to ask for help, but maybe important to touch on it anyway, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. No, I totally agree. It's important to just do it. I know that we can get so wrapped up in our own minds of no one cares, it's not important, it's not a big deal, it's not chronic enough. It's, I don't know who to ask for help or who can help me through this.
Yeah.
But getting started somewhere, acknowledging that help is out there first, and then saying, okay, I know that this is a known. Let me go ahead and start my journey to ask.
Yeah, and I think another big thing is that you're not alone.
Right.
Especially in situations where you don't feel safe. I feel it's very easy to believe that you are the only one and no one's going to be there to help you. Because there's that narrative out in our world. But there are people out there that want to help. And if you talk to you don't have to go to the best person to ask for help. But if you go to somebody, more than likely they can help you be connected to people who can help you more.
Right. And you're building on your support system too. Just by asking somebody, although they might not be totally knowledgeable of what you're needing in particular, but I'm sure they would be more than happy to sit with you to find that.
Absolutely.
Or ask somebody they may know. It's a chain effect.
Yes.
It is. And it's to go back to it, it's important to just do it, to just ask.
Absolutely. Not to have like a goofy segue, but I remember
We love it. We encourage those.
for some reason, this made me think of like hydrating. So when our body is giving us signals that we're thirsty, more than likely we're already dehydrated. And that's what my college coach told us. So annoying. She's like, you need to drink more water. So I love
eyes twitching. It's probably because I'm dehydrated. Or stressed.
But it's just, she always said that we need to be hydrating throughout the day. And she's like, if you feel that you are thirsty, you're not hydrating enough, because that's your body's signal that you've already you're technically dehydrated, I guess. And that's stuck with me for so long now.
Yeah.
It's like over a decade ago. But I think that pertains well to like any situation of like, if you're starting to think about it or understand that maybe this isn't normal, this is something that probably needs to be addressed, it's probably already past the point of like when you quote unquote should ask for help.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you're late either.
Right. You should still ask for help even though it's past that point.
Like when we're thirsty, we drink water.
It's supposed to be water, but whatever you choose to drink, it's totally fine to quench that thirst.
As long as you're mostly drinking water in the day.
Yeah. Your body tends to need that.
Yeah. And some flat water, okay?
Not always sparkly.
No, it's really bad for the bladder.
You hear that, Mike?
The husband call out mid-episode. I love it.
That's for him. Specifically for him.
Coffee and bubbly sparkling water. We're going to have to talk about that.
I'll leave you to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Noted, and we'll do that later.
Perfect. You have a wonderful point. That's such a great example, because I think most of us hard-working people are dehydrated. And we fail to take care of that basic need that we have.
Absolutely.
You know? And asking for help is kind of a need, right? It's a need.
Yeah, and it's like, I would almost say it is a basic need of like feeling. This is something that I've talked about a lot lately of like, all right, we think of basic needs as like safety, shelter, food, and water, but also community. Community is a basic need, especially in our society, because now it's more prevalent than ever, is that we have all the comforts of everything that we could want in most cases. But that's also isolating ourselves. And then we wonder why we're feeling down, depressed, and isolated when we have all the comforts or anything that we could want.
Right. Yeah.
And having community gives you more options and people to reach out to for when you need help. And having more connection with community makes it easier to ask for help.
Yep. It makes it more accessible, yeah. It does. And it makes it not necessarily like where we're holding shame or guilt around asking for help. It's invited, you know, especially when you see it through other people. You know, you're like, wow, that person's so courageous because they're asking for help, and that person over there is giving it to them without any hesitation. That's wonderful.
We love to learn from other people.
Of course. Well, it's part of our social makeup, right? We are social beings. We're like constantly learning and adapting from our environment. So if we can see that and see it for ourselves and understand that internally, yeah, it's okay to do that.
Absolutely.
Ask for help. Yeah, but I love your point too of it is a basic necessity, because what if we're not able to get water or shelter or any of those other necessities that we need in order to survive? We have to lean on someone else to be able to provide that to us.
Absolutely. Of course, this made me think of, last time we went to a brewery and Mike met us out there and he was talking about Project Hail Mary. So you guys had just seen the movie. I just finished the book.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
But it makes... why did I get on this tangent?
Get it.
Oh, so the alien that he meets in space, their literal biology is like they don't sleep every day like we do, but they sleep every couple of days, and their whole body shuts down. So their need for community is so important because they can't do anything while they're sleeping and repairing. And I just, I mean, that's an extravagant example, but when we were in tribes and whatnot, like that's what we needed. We needed people around us to keep us safe, and now that's not needed necessarily, but we still have that desire to have it. Because even though this alien in the book and the movie had a crew, but they all died. And so he'd been alone for decades. And when he found this alien to him, he was like, can you watch me sleep?
It's cute in the movie. If you haven't seen the movie,
I can't wait to see the movie. Cannot wait to see the movie. Sorry if that was, I don't think there were any spoilers in that, but I apologize.
Go watch it, and you're late if you haven't watched it or look at it. You're not forgiven.
I want to make the movie a whole thing, go to the Alamo, have dinner, movie, drinks. I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
It would be, because it's a great movie.
I'm so excited. I love the book so much.
It's so good.
But anyway, that's what I've got on community.
I love it. It's such a wonderful example because it's true. You have to rely on your community at some point in order to help you. Like that's just inevitable. You cannot do everything yourself. Even when you go to the supermarket and you have your mobile order and you go pick it up, and someone's still bringing that out to your car and putting it in your truck. Someone still took time to pull all those things off the shelves in order to fulfill your order. Right? You still have to rely on community. You just can't rely on being self-sufficient and self-reliant 100% of the time.
I love that you brought up that example too, because it's not somebody that's close to you that's doing that for you either.
And it goes back to this person, needed a job, and out of all the jobs that they could have applied to, they applied to this one. Out of all the jobs they probably got hired at, they did this one. And that's such a community related job. Like you go to the same supermarket within your community all the time. You see the same people. You get to know those people.
So true. It doesn't, I feel like having grown up in a small community, it doesn't feel that way here, but it is totally the same. It's just on a different scale.
Right. Yeah. This is more wide set scale here. It's bigger.
Right.
But yeah.
And I think another example more on the physical side, we've talked about my ski accident quite a few times, but having gone through that, I was able to reach out and connect with people that I've networked with over the last couple of years, and now I feel like I'm finally on the tail end of recovering from this accident that happened in January. Which is so wild to think about, but all that work I'd put in over the last 2 years allowed me to have the resources I needed when I needed them.
Right. Yeah. And it's hindsight. When you met them 2 years ago, you had no idea that you would actually need their services.
Right.
Or connect with them on a professional level.
Right.
Yeah.
Or kind of even more personal, because you become a patient for them.
Right.
Rather than just being all professional. And ultimately, I feel like that makes it a more, a stronger referral relationship, because you've added value to their business, or you've seen value in them, so then you're sending over higher quality referrals.
Right.
Or more likely to send over higher quality referrals.
Right. Yeah, because they're directly treating you, and you're like, well, if that person made me feel this way, I want to send everybody to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, I've been referring everybody to all my people. It's you'll never know, but this woman's amazing. I started acupuncture, and I'm doing that regularly now, and I'm amazed.
Yeah, game changer.
Yeah. I only had one other experience, and it was weird. Total different experience with this woman. I should know better. It's absolutely amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you didn't give up. That's another perfect example too. You're kind of different. I think we both are, in a sense that we take pride in being able to ask for help. We push ourselves through it, although sometimes it might make us feel really uncomfortable, and we pull back just slightly. We know that it needs to be done. But what I want to point out there too is that because you had a negative experience in the past based on this particular service that you're seeking, you didn't stop asking for help in that.
Such a therapist thing to say. I love it.
Thank you.
And I mean, we've both done so much work to understand how our minds work, and how we can kind of lean on those resources in our lives too. So everybody listening, it takes time.
It does.
Practice. We've talked about practice in the past, but you just have to do it and build trust in yourself and in your community.
Right.
But yeah, it is hard to ask for help.
It is.
I think in our last episode I talked about how the difference between asking for help professionally versus asking for help personally is so different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's such a different level, and they're both vulnerable. You know, you can feel vulnerability when you're in both those areas. Personal might be a little bit more vulnerable because you're digging deep within self in that pain you're experiencing, whether it be physical or mental.
Right.
You know, and reaching out to a professional who can hear you. You know, and to be able to provide you with the care that they can in order to help you heal through whatever you're experiencing.
Absolutely. And sometimes, I don't know, this just popped into my head. We had talked about in our last episode about finding providers that actually listen to you and can help you because they understand, or they try to understand what you're going through, which can also be scary.
Yeah.
I feel that it's very easy to do just the opposite, to find a provider to say that you're wrong or it's all in your head, to just kind of repeat that pattern in your mind that you don't need or deserve whatever it is that you're thinking that you do.
Right.
But you do.
Yeah.
Deserve help, and you shouldn't have to deal with things.
Yeah, we all do.
Absolutely.
No matter where you are on the scale of it all, whether this is a new injury or an old one, like you still deserve to have that attention placed on you with, you know, to get the help that you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's no too late, I would say. I mean, there's always consequences to actions.
It's just another layer, I think.
Yeah. So you can still get help, and it can improve your situation.
Yeah. You know, I hear this in my sessions a lot with people of, well, I hate that I came, you know, all these years later, and this is a childhood experience that I've been through, and I've been harboring these feelings for, a long time. But I always tell my clients, like, you just weren't ready either. You were not ready to go through, you know, re-experiencing the feelings that you did because of that instance. Now you've managed through life this long, you've been in survivor brain for this long, you know, and you're finally ready to pull yourself out of that and heal. Now is more appropriate. Absolutely. So you're right. There's no it's too late. It's when you feel ready to do so. But you have to separate the hesitation of reaching out versus like when you feel ready to too.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think bringing it onto like a physical standpoint of chronic pain, love working with people in chronic pain, but I know there's a difference between they're just jumping provider to provider, just being tossed around, not actually putting any effort in, to the ones who are intentionally looking for providers that are going to help them get better. Because that's totally different mindset.
Yeah.
Those are people who want to get better in their core, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get better.
Right.
But that's also like a mindset thing. If we identify with diagnoses that have been given to us and we keep getting more and more and more diagnoses, it's proving that we are quote unquote broken or there's no hope.
Right.
And it can be very easy to get sucked into that identity versus believing that diagnosis is not your identity. Yeah, diagnosis was literally created for insurance companies, by insurance companies. It's not who you are.
As a therapist, I hate diagnosing people, and I diagnose because I do take insurance. Right. I hate it. Yep. Because there's not one diagnosis that fits a single person to the T. You know, and that's the first thing that I'll tell my clients too. I'm like, if you see PTSD, if you see generalized anxiety, major depressive disorder, all these diagnoses under your profile, it's because the insurance is requesting that. Based on what we've talked about, that is the information I'm allowed to give. But it's not that is not your personality at all. It is a cluster of symptoms that you're experiencing, hence why you're seeking help. And you're seeking relief from it. We don't want to identify with it because that's not going to help you. That's just going to make things worse for you.
1000%. I've been there.
I think we all have.
And we just want to make sure we get out on the other side. Through asking for help and recognizing what's going on in our bodies, in our minds.
And there is help for almost anything. There are a lot of people who are so passionate about various things in this world. I guarantee you'll be able to find somebody who can help with whatever situation you're going through.
Absolutely. There's so many options. I think it's so cool.
I do too.
The more people I meet, the more I learn, and I'm like, this is so, I never would have known.
Right? And that idea goes back to the community. Opening your heart to seeing what's within your community. To educate yourself. How wonderful is that? To have so much knowledge and to be able to offer that knowledge to the next person.
It's such a gift. I think it's so cool.
It is.
Gosh. Okay. Should we do specific areas of when, quote unquote, to ask?
For mental health, I think that I think some key things to look at for mental health, it would be, are there any signs that are showing that things are really changing in your life? Like you're not able to maybe function the way that you used to at work. You feel more irritable around your family or in the car, or maybe you're having more days of sadness, or you notice that you're not taking care of yourself the way that you used to. Those are really big signs that something in your world is changing. And we want to get on top of that as quickly as possible, because the more we linger in that space, the deeper that hole is going to get and the harder it is going to be to come out of that.
Absolutely. And I think a couple of things that I pick up for myself is I live alone, so it's like always like, well, my mess is my mess. Whereas if I lived with someone else, it'd be a completely different story. But my kitchen starts getting messier, I stop like putting laundry where it goes, like those little things that just pile up over time. And then I start watching TV more, and then I start scrolling on my phone while watching TV, and when that happens, I'm like, I need to call somebody.
I need to ask for help.
So there are some specific examples if you've ever noticed that on your own lives. Because if we have a messy space that we're living in, that's usually a physical representation of how we're feeling mentally, even if we've blocked it from our consciousness.
If it's messy here, it's a hot mess in here. It's a beautiful hot mess, don't get me wrong. We can if you're willing to work on that, we can work on that. But it's a lot going on up there. If your space is pretty messy,
there's probably some like sparkles.
Sure, definitely. I personally, I've definitely been in that space. My space is more like, it gets messy in the areas where I only work. So my office gets really messy, and I just kind of put things everywhere. But mine is focus. My problem is when I have a hard time focusing on a task. Never with work, thank goodness. But like if I'm trying to get notes done, or I'm trying to, in school, if I was trying to get a paper done or something like that, I neglected it until the last 24 hours it was due. And found my way to do anything else that was more interesting.
1000%.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
And this could probably be a topic we can dive into in another episode, but I I've been going through some really deep stuff with my therapist, and it's fantastic. I feel so good on the other side of it now. Besides the fact that I'm tired right now. I think that's just other things. But I had a moment recently where I just like felt like I wanted to cry all the time. And I happened to have therapy that day, and I was like, this is going to be a long day. And we started the session. I told her how I was feeling, and I was like, but I held it together for my clients. And she goes, how often do you do that? And I was like, what do you mean, how often do I do that? All the time.
Like, oh crap, this is about to get real deep.
This is going to be a rough session.
Diving deep today.
But I think it's interesting to think of how we present ourselves professionally, where we feel it's like almost like just sliding on a mask. And I almost feel like that happens more in healthcare than maybe other professions.
Yeah.
But it's also a good time when you notice you're doing that more and more to ask for help.
Yeah. And healthcare providers are allowed to fall apart every once in a while.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. It's encouraged.
Yeah.
Not when you're with your clients and your patients, obviously.
Right? You are the authority there. Which is why we're so good at putting that mask on.
Thanks. That's the point I was going to make. We have to put on that mask to make it appear as if our life is so put together. That's not always the reality. Like, if you're sitting on my couch telling me that you're falling apart like a taco, chances are I've been there twice this week.
Yes. And that's why we have this podcast. We get to share this information with you, but get to be ourselves too. Absolutely. Which I think is beautiful.
Yeah. We're Hot Mess Express over here, but we love it. We thrive so much on it.
We find a lot of joy in the process.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
It's hard. Going through the process itself is hard.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is finding joy within that and seeing how much we're able to overcome, and be so proud.
Yeah. It's so cool to like look back and you're like, wow, I did all of that.
Like, go me.
Yes.
Through the hot mess, the depression, the focus, problems. Yep. So it's all worth it in the end.
It is all worth it in the end.
But you know what we did differently that some people just don't do is ask for help.
Wild. What a concept.
Let's bring it back.
I love it. That was a beautiful segue.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And that within itself was a challenge too. I know for myself personally, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just making it real and helping you all to understand that it is a challenge, and it's a challenge that we can face, and that we can overcome, and know that there are people that love and care for us so deeply and want to see us succeed.
They do.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then they don't belong in your community.
That's right. You get the boot.
See you never. But yeah, so let's talk about the physical side.
Sure.
I feel that a lot of people believe, especially when they're younger, which is probably the demographic that's finding us on this podcast, which is awesome. We think that we have to wait until there's a problem before we ask for help.
Yeah.
Whether that is an injury that's impacting how we move about our lives, or we're just like not feeling good. When I think preventative is so much more important, or getting to it as soon as it starts to feel off. I wish our healthcare system was more preventative focused, but it's not. So we're learning.
We have to have a reason. Hence why a lot of insurance companies are like, you have to have a referral, or your doctor
and
has
diagnosis, and like blah blah blah. You got to do it in this order. Or we're not gonna. Yeah. Anyway,
it doesn't. There's a barrier there. It does make it harder, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still ask for help.
Absolutely. And I can say, I can't remember where we're at now, but physical therapy is direct access in the majority of the United States. So that means you don't need a referral unless you are on government-funded insurance. Huge.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
It is a huge deal. That being said, if you're still going through insurance, they're probably not going to cover as many visits as you probably deserve for preventative, but it can at least give you a basis of like where you're starting, your baseline, and kind of give you some homework that you can do on your own.
Right.
And then you can go to like a personal trainer who can build upon it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great transition when you're doing insurance-based care.
That's a good point. I think for myself, I guess I thought too that like there was nothing afterwards, and that's always scary. Of like, you're getting so much one-on-one attention and help from this professional, and then all of a sudden you're done.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I forgot everything that I learned. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah. I think it's a very commonly missed transition. I think primarily because personal trainers are not covered with insurance and they're kind of expensive. I get it. And if you want to maintain and continue making progress once insurance has cut you off, that's probably what you should do.
Yeah.
Because we bring up all the time in our episodes, like Dr. Google and AI are not going to get you there.
They're not. No.
It can be a tool, and it's not enough.
You can use it to help you ask for help.
That is the best way to use it. We should all do that.
Right? Yeah.
Share some AI prompts.
Yeah.
And ask for help.
We should do that too.
I love it. Stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram.
Right. Don't forget.
So yeah, that's like a cool transition, and one that I think is super important. I work with a couple of gyms locally that I like to do that referral pattern with. And of course, like, I've vetted them and I trust them and they are open to communicating with me, and I think that's really important too.
Yeah.
I don't go through insurance, which is another whole thing, but that means I can stay in contact longer because it's really hard to do like one visit a month through insurance, but like in cash pay you could do that. You can kind of maintain that like check-in model,
right?
So you don't feel like it's just like you're done, bye.
Yeah. And I think we should have an episode on that particular topic too, because that's people really feel that, that betrayal and just like grief about losing that provider or losing that service when they really need it.
Especially when you see this provider 2-3 times a week.
You develop a relationship with them. Closeness. They get to know you, you get to know them. And it's familiar. We were just talking about having a schedule and a routine, and when that's ripped away from you because insurance says so.
Yeah. Oh, it sucks.
It's hard not to put blame on your provider. I get that. It's although it's not their fault, it's still like you have to get angry at somebody or something.
Right. We always want someone to blame, and it's easier to blame the person you can see in person.
Yeah. Like, you did this. Not really. Your insurance did it. That's their rule. But anyway, I think we should definitely cover that in the future.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
We'll save that soapbox for another day.
You just have to keep coming back and listening so you can catch it.
Absolutely. I think another thing important to think about is anything that you feel that's changed in your body is a good time to ask for help. We've mentioned before in passing of like, and I don't know why this one bothers me so much, but women who are postpartum, or even women who are not, but you're having urine leakage with coughing, sneezing, jumping, that's not normal. It didn't happen before. It doesn't have to happen now. And it's happening more and more to women who've never been pregnant, due to sucking in and increasing the intra-abdominal pressure, which is a whole thing. It can be fixed. That's all I'm saying, is like, I have seen people go from going through 3 to 5 pads a day because of urine leakage to not leaking within 4 to 6 weeks.
That's amazing.
And the first woman I helped with that had been dealing with this for over 40 years. And it was like 4 to 6 weeks, it stopped. And she was like, I waited this long for this.
Yeah.
Ask for help.
Yep.
There's no reason to suffer.
In that, I think that goes back to know your body.
Yes.
Know how your body is supposed to function. We're not taught in school. Well, at least I know I wasn't taught in school, and
I wasn't either.
You weren't either.
No.
Like how your body functions and what's supposed to be normal. What does functioning even mean? Is why do we have to push ourselves through a knee pain, bladder leakage, a constant headache, a backache? All those things.
Even like period cramps.
Yeah,
That's also not normal, guys.
yeah.
That has become normal in our society, but it's not normal for our bodies.
It's become normalized because people
good
are
correction.
They're talking about it. There are some people who are talking about it, right? Like it's, we sit in a room full of women and they're talking about how their period cramps are awful and they've been dealing with that since the very beginning, versus someone over here is talking about, that just started for me. It's not consistent. Something is wrong.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like PMS is a diagnosis. Our soapbox of diagnoses today. And that's not normal.
No.
Diagnoses come about due to abnormal things.
Yeah.
So why are we normalizing it?
Yes. Get to know your body.
Yeah.
Know how it's supposed to function.
And learn how to ask for help if you don't know.
Right. Yeah. Go to Dr. Google for that one.
Just Google around a little bit. You're going to find a lot of different things, and you can easily find things that are going to support your viewpoint. So be careful. But
yeah. Go in with an open mind.
Yeah, and there are a lot of providers and professionals on social media and whatnot that's easy to access. But we need to be paying attention to credentials.
Yeah.
I know.
Good point.
Yeah, so I know there's this trend going around on social media of like, why are doctors trying to be influencers, or like instead of doctor, like input whatever profession? And the answer is because influencers are trying to be like doctors, mental health therapists, physical therapists, like. And it's so frustrating that in these professions that we needed all this education, the credentials, the licensure, and then
money.
We're not going to get on that. And we're helping people all day.
Yeah.
Influencers who have hundreds of thousands, maybe a million plus followers, get paid through social media and brands, and I think that's fantastic for them. And I don't think they should be giving advice, even if they can give their personal experience. They should not be giving advice, because not everybody's the same.
Right. Yeah. And hasn't gone through the schooling and the formal education and continued education that most medical providers or healthcare providers need to go through in order to stay up to date with recent trends, or, just development and research and all the things that we have to go through in order to provide you with the best care.
Yeah. And research is always changing.
It is. Yeah.
Which is mind-boggling, because we like to think, especially like baby boomers and Gen X, with Jet blanket statement, would say that they would go to the doctor, a doctor's word is law. Like there's no other option.
Right.
Whereas now millennials and Gen Z are starting to realize all of these things are changing, because we're seeing massive changes in our healthcare system. From like 20 to 50 years ago, something that was expected to be normal is no longer being supported by evidence, because we've learned more.
Right.
But I mean, we could even be more dramatic of like bloodletting.
Yeah. Yep.
And shock therapy.
Yeah, we don't do that no more.
None of that is done anymore. And that was considered normal, and we think that sounds just funny.
Yeah, you're like, wait, but no, they actually did that. But even lobotomies, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just scramble your brain a little. You're good. Go on, do your thing.
Yeah, so that was considered normal at one point. So why are we finding that our research and healthcare is going to change?
Right.
we shouldn't.
Yeah, it's constantly adapting. And you made this point, I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before, about practice. We're constantly practicing, and that comes along with practice, right? That research.
Absolutely.
And like, okay, why has this stuck around for so long when, there are adaptations to believe that this is different right now, which follow current research. It's important. Use Google as a resource to be able to find research that supports what you're looking for. That's the most accurate, thing that you'll get.
Absolutely. Yeah. And maybe we can throw like a couple of websites that are like trusted for research. But if you're looking at different providers or you find people online, it's also very easy to see if they have a license.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know that, especially not in the healthcare.
No, I feel like that just dawned on me recently because I started working with some other providers and I'm moving into their space, and they're like, well, let me see if you have a license. I was like, I've been helping you guys out for a couple months now. That's so funny that you want to look now. But yeah, there are literal websites because there's whole programs that track this stuff. So if you really wanted to be sure the information you were getting was coming from a trusted source, you can look up their license, and then of course you have to make sure what they're giving you. You can always ask for resources. Yeah. And they should be able to provide you with those resources from trusted resources.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think we all should be doing that. Especially we gotta be serious about the help that we're asking for through the people we're asking help from.
Yes.
If we are aware of ourselves and want to keep ourselves healthy, mind, body, soul, we want to make sure that the person we're putting our livelihood, our health into, our well-being, or healing through has the right credentials to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a wild world out there.
It is. Just be careful, be cautious.
Yes.
Yeah. Seek out a couple of providers,
I love second and third opinions.
It's encouraged.
I love them so much.
Yep. It's encouraged. Yep. I even tell my some of the clients that reach out to me just through referrals and whatnot, like, call other therapists too. I might not be the best fit for you, which is fine. No hard feelings on my part, but I want you to be able to get the help that you need. So I might not be that for you.
I love that you do that.
Yeah.
I always offer, especially if people tag me on social media, I'm happy to chat with you, see if we're a good fit. I'm not gonna bug you or force you, harass you to get onto my schedule if we're not a good fit, because I also have that boundary too. If we don't mesh both ways, it's a two-way street here. We're exchanging energy in so many ways, and I don't want to dread you coming in. That's a personal boundary there. I did enough of that already in my career when I didn't have a choice.
Working for other people.
Working for insurance, or you were just handed patients, and I told people to leave, which was really hard, and I got some backlash on that. But also, you're taking a slot that someone who wants to be here could be here, and if you're not going to do the work, why would I want to work with you?
Right. Yeah.
Or if you're being mean to me, you don't deserve my help anyway.
Right. Yeah, you don't work with mean people.
No.
You're too kind.
I'm such an empath too.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing at all. That is such a wonderful thing. Yeah. And it's so great that you have your own business too, because you can be selective of who is going to be a good fit for your practice.
Right.
And respecting that other person's.
Yeah. And I think bringing it back to diagnoses too, I don't diagnose in my practice. If somebody needs documentation for insurance for out of network benefits, I will have to put one on there, but nobody asks me for diagnoses in my practice. And I think that's the best thing in the world, because having gone through so many years of identifying with these arbitrary diagnoses the doctors had given me, and having to come out on the other side, and then being told in my career I have to do that to other people, I hated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather educate you on what I'm seeing and what we can do to make it better.
Right.
That's so much more important.
That's where you want to spend most of your time.
Yep.
I agree. That's where I want to spend most of my time too. You know, and it's important.
It's so important.
And it's helping that person understand where they're at, you know, where their functionality is at physically, where their functionality is at mentally, and saying like there's nothing wrong with you. You just have a barrier that we have to, you know, overcome.
Yeah. Absolutely. And sometimes if you're being seen for a physical problem, that barrier is mental.
Yeah.
I refer to my therapist all the time.
Yep. Your body has some funky ways of showing you that too.
Yeah.
Which it's a signal, it's a sign. Your body's like, hey, you're not listening to me. I'm telling you something. You keep avoiding it. You keep pushing me off. So now I'm going to give you a cough that you can't get rid of.
It's a big one.
That's a big one. That's a hard one to get to like work with. But
yeah,
it's there.
And I think back pain as well.
Yeah,
We've
back
talked
pain.
about that one before.
Neck, shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of that chronic pain stuff. Just need the right providers. Someone who's going to listen to you. And that is... We're the best, obviously.
And if we can't work with you, we know people who can.
Absolutely.
Really wonderful people who are so happy to work with, you know, people that we refer out to.
And I think I love that so much about you. And then also, like, so many people in my network is that we're very collaborative. We want the best for the individual we're trying to help. It doesn't, if that's not us, we're fine with that, but we still want to make sure they're getting the help that they deserve. And I think that's so important too. And it's frustrating when people come to me after having spent like a year or even like 3+ months with a provider, paying out of pocket or through insurance, and not made any progress.
Yep. Because they don't know, they're not hearing you. They're not knowledgeable on what your needs are.
Which is so frustrating. Because I think my rule of thumb, if we haven't seen any progress in 4 weeks, we have to reevaluate. If we're literally making no progress, maybe you need to see somebody else. Maybe there's another intervention that we need to do.
Right.
I've been called like an anti-surgery PT, which, I mean, everybody should be anti-surgery. In a sense. I like to correct it and say anti-unnecessary surgery.
I love that. That's so good. Because it's true. The first thing they want to do is like, okay, we're sending you in for surgery next week. You're like, well, wait.
Exactly.
Why?
So I would much rather want to expend all conservative methods with full gusto, fully bought in. I want to try all the things, and I want that for everybody I see before you go to that route, because that recovery is wild. And I know we'll talk about it in an episode of like the impact surgery has on our bodies and on our minds, because yes, we're unconscious, yes, we're healing from a massive wound, but also that's trauma.
That is trauma.
It's physical trauma. Your body's hearing everything. It's so wild.
It is because it does affect you, you know, mentally, physically, all of it. All of it. You know, and it extends outwardly too, to asking for help by your family members and friends who need to be there for you when you can't be there for yourself the way that you would typically, because you're such an independent person.
The little jingle with that.
I'm sorry, hyper independent person.
And sometimes, if you haven't practiced asking for help and leaning on your community, you may get to a point in your life where you feel there's no one you can ask. And that's another whole layer to having a procedure and losing your independence for 3, 4, 6 weeks. A long time. And so anyway, there is a detriment to not asking for help now and practicing that and strengthening that muscle. You should all start today.
Go to your closet, pull out your teddy bear that you haven't touched in many, many years. The one that's, hairy and stiff hairy, right?
Maybe a little matted.
Old, a little matted, missing an eye. That one. Put it in a chair and practice with that.
It's a great thing.
Practice asking for help. Recognize where you need help in any area of your life. And talk to your teddy bear, crusty teddy bear, about your need for help.
Yeah. Your trusted friend that's always been there for you.
It's a shame you locked him in the closet for so long, but he's so trustworthy. He has not left that space since the last time you put him there.
I love that. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And we'll be sharing more journal prompts.
Yes.
How you can kind of dig into this a little bit more too. I know journaling's not for everybody, but I feel over the years I've kind of leaned more into it, of like really getting into what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's helpful when you have a prompt right in front of you, or multiple, because there's at least one that you can relate to or feel like you're resonating with the most in that particular time. So yeah, we can share more. I'm pretty sure I have a workbook full of journal prompts, so
perfect. And this is why we're the dual force. But thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us again this week. We would love some reviews,
of course,
so that more people like you can find our show.
Yes.
And we can grow this community.
Yeah, we have so much to share, and hopefully, if it's not this episode, it was something else that resonated with you before, and we'd love to hear your feedback or even suggestions about future episodes or what you'd like for us to dig into next time.
We can yap all day long on any topic, so if there's something you really want to hear, let us know, and we'll do that first.
Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to The Dual Force. Your mind and body are always in conversation, whether you notice it or not. Start listening. And if today's episode sparked something in you, pass it along to someone who needs that reminder.